Before we get started with the actual conversation, and when we have the speakers come in and introduce themselves, we're starting off with the vitals. We're having everyone come in and share their vitals. And we did that throughout this whole week, where we're just asking people what is their sun sign and what is their moon sign and what is their ascending, just so that you can see that the work that we do inside of Master Force is actually about supporting us and knowing who we are from the cosmic level, right? So that all of the energy that's coming into to us through the universe is able to be used and not necessarily, forced on us. Like you all know, this is a Mercury retrograde, right? So when you're aware that it's a Mercury retrograde, there's certain precautions you can take to support yourself. But if you don't know that it's a Mercury retrograde, there's a tendency to feel stressed out and crazy about it. So we like to use the energy of the cosmos to our greatest advantage. Now, let me see. I see that one of us have fallen off. We have a couple of viewers. Let me check in right quick and find out what happened. Oh, there you go. Thank you. I was just about to call you. So if you can mute your mic. Okay. There you go. We'll get a lot of reverb if we don't mute the mics and cause a lot of craziness. Okay. So if you have been listening with us this week, we have been having a conversation called A Dissertation on Manifestation. And we started off Monday talking about purification, recapitulation, and self-preservation. In other words, before you can begin to manifest things, you have to make sure that your heart is light. You have to make sure that all resentment, all grudges, all anger, all of that is cleaned out of your space. Now, regardless, doesn't have anything with anyone else, you want to make sure that your heart is light. So you can go back and listen to day one, and we give Kelly and Teresa, they gave some great pointers on what you can do to purify your space, purify yourself, and also self-care. And then on Tuesday, we spoke with Greg about what do you desire. So once you purify yourself, you can then look at what it is you desire and how do you actually tap into the desire at your soul level, right? And then on Wednesday, we spoke with Icha about Marvit, taking your desire and putting it into the Marv technique, the meditation, affirmation, relaxation, and visualization. And so now tonight, we talk about the Kundalini magic. And this energy is the energy that all of us have. Every single one of us have Kundalini energy. Most of it is suppressed because of how we've been raised and taught and all of that. But as an individual, I have my Kundalini energy. But when you get married or when you're in a committed, loving relationship, the energy of your partner becomes available for the two of you to now have this huge, vast realm of magical juice. I probably shouldn't have said it like that, huh? But that's what it is. I called it juicy juice last night because your energy combined is exponential energy for the universe to tap into and help you to create and build empires. So we want all couples to align with this energy and begin to create and manifest businesses, families, whatever, empires that you desire. Okay? So without further ado, I want to introduce you to two of my favorite couples. And as I said last night, we have over 6 Master Force couples that have gone through this curriculum either together or separately. And it really is a powerful work, when you work it together, right? Okay, so the first couple I want to introduce are, man, they are just probably the greatest love story. We have so many great love stories, but they are one of the love stories that I've watched over time blossom into something solid, and has really taught me a lot about what it means to stand in love and stand in your heart. And that is Julian and KSandra. So let me introduce you to this amazing couple. Don't forget that you guys are muted, so you can unmute yourself now.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Like, what's she talking about?
Yes, I'm talking about you guys. You're the oldest couple in the group that I know. I mean,
Wow,
really? Yeah.
Okay.
If you talk about from the that.
Okay.
So Cassandra's like, who's she talking about? She talking about. So now I already know that. Okay, so I guess you can say what your profession is and all that, but I'd also like for you to include what your sun sign is, what your moon sign is, what your ascending is, and then what your destiny card is. And if you know what your Chinese zodiac is, that would be good too. So whichever one of you, did you all already decide how you were going to talk? No, go ahead. Whichever.
I'll let the ladies go first. So.
Oh, okay.
So I guess my profession is currently I work in customer service, dealing with an industry that helps support the community by enrolling clients into Medicaid. I was recently promoted to a manager about a month ago.
Okay.
I've been with the company now for 4 years.
Okay.
However, I feel like it ties into my work, my life work, what I did in developing coaching. I became a certified master coach in 2014, and it just kind of added to that skill.
Wonderful.
So I get to practice it every day, working with my manager's team, developing. And the biggest thing is accountability and not rescuing. So while I can encourage and talk to, I am clear about where my responsibility is with them and for them to do the work. So it adds another layer for me, and I think adds to my effectiveness in my role.
Wonderful.
Yes. So my zodiac sign is Virgo.
Yeah.
My moon is in Scorpio, which is very intuitive sign.
Yes.
My ascending sign is in Sagittarius.
Okay. That's that fire. That's where the fire is.
That is, which my Chinese zodiac sign is Fire Horse.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Yes. So I am really about action, getting stuff done, not being bored. So I always look for new life. Whatever I'm doing, how can I build on it? You're not just standing still. So I'm always looking for ways to improve and develop.
Got it.
Is that the spirits? My planetary card is the 6 of clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Destiny card, and my planetary card is the 6 of spades.
So you have 2 6s.
I have 2 6. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a lot of karma coming at you, right?
often and completely. One of the things, because I work with Timothy to do my reading, and one of the things he said that my life was built, I chose to come into this world during this time, which always means that I will have to deal with the most difficult situations, but I am more than capable of doing it. And I totally understood what he's saying, because sometimes it did feel unfair. But, if anyone could do it, it would be me. Like, I always figure out a way, and not in a way like, I can't believe this happened to me. It's almost like, okay, now what am I supposed to learn, and then go from it. And that once I was able to learn that, it made my transition into each development a lot smoother. Even this relationship.
Yes.
Yes.
Very powerful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Julian, now it's your turn.
My turn. All right. I guess. Well, my 9 to 5 is a police officer, with a sergeant with the University of Chicago Police Department, and I am also a certified life coach. I got started with Master Force. Can you see? Can you see? Can you see?
Oh, you flash it.
Right. So I got started with that, and then I furthered it with going back to school a little bit to do holistic practitioning.
Yes.
So I'm with holistic nutrition, life coaching, and also hypnotherapy and detoxing with the body. So anything nutrition, anything with health, that's what I deal with too as well. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah. Also a DJ. So if you need anybody.
All right, no plugs, really.
Yes, shameless plug.
Shameless. But he is a good DJ.
Thank you. I am the one and only Mighty Capricorn, January 15th.
I'm not going to say anything.
Thank you.
One and only. My Chinese astrological sign is the rat.
Okay.
Yeah. And I like to use Kemetic too. So my Kemetic symbol or Kemetic astrological sign is Amon-Ra, and also the Baobab tree.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it deals, that's both are being rooted
Mm-hmm.
and being that breath of life, education, knowledge, train others, and like to be taught and like to teach others.
Yes.
So my destiny card is the Queen of Diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
My ruling card is the 7 of Clubs.
Oh, okay. That's the fated card. Got it. See, it's so interesting because just hearing your cards and all that, I can see that you guys had to be together. When you just look deeper and deeper. And can you see it, KSandra? Like, oh, yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh. Well,
yeah, I see it.
Yeah,
I see it. Because we actually had met through his sister-in-law and brother 5 or 6 years way before we dated.
Yeah.
Totally not interested at all. Wow. And then how we found our way back is, so it does feel karmatic.
Yes. Definitely. And I think in your readings, you've been together in other lifetimes, if I remember correctly. And I think
correct. Yeah.
So you would really find each other. Very cool. Okay, but thank you. So now let's meet the other couple. Can you guys mute your mic for me, please?
Yeah.
Let me meet Qiana and Taiji. Hello.
Hey, Shemsu-t.
So who's going first here?
You want to go first?
I'll go first. My employment is, I work for Chicago Transit Authority. I'm a bus operator.
Okay.
Chicago Transit Authority. I've been here for about 9 years now.
Yeah.
And what I do on the side is I am a home brewer, so I brew beer. If anybody, would like to taste the beer, I brew it.
Okay, don't you start plugging.
Okay, right. I'm just saying, All right. What else? I joined Master Force. This year. So I'm a baby. I'm a baby to it. Still learning information about it, but I use it every day.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a bus operator, so I'm a counselor. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. I'm a best friend. So I use it all day, every day. I am a Cancer. July 3rd, 1974. I'm a Cancer, and my Chinese sign is Tiger. So
Your destiny card.
my destiny card is the Queen of Diamonds.
Wow.
So yeah.
I didn't know both of you guys were Queen of Diamonds.
Yeah. Yep. Queen of Diamonds.
No, I mean you and Julian.
Oh yeah, I didn't know what it was at first. I was upset that I was the Queen of Diamonds. I thought it was me. I was a girl or something. When I first started learning, I thought I was a girl. I'm not a Queen of Diamonds. Tell me to check it again.
I felt the same way.
Yeah.
I felt the same way. I had to go in deeper, and I was like, okay, feel a little bit better after that.
Right, after I read it, understand what it meant.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh wow. Very cool. And then was that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm Qiana Thompson. My African name is Nini, which means strength and industrious one. And I am an executive life coach with Master Force. I am the owner of Holistic Harmony, and I also am an aromatherapist. And I've been with Master Force, I believe, since 2013. And it literally rocked my world and changed my life. I love being a coach. I love teaching the coaches. I actually certified my husband. He was in my class, so that was awesome to do. And I am a Scorpio sun. I am a Aquarius moon and a Leo ascendant. I got a lot going on.
That is a lot.
My destiny card, I'm an Ace of Diamond.
Yes.
And I have two planetary ruling cards, the Queen of Club and the Three of Club. And my what is it? The Chinese zodiac.
Yep.
I am a Earth horse.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You guys, y'all need to hang out.
Yeah, I had saw that. I was like, oh, okay.
That's very powerful. Very cool. Okay. So now, let me see. Okay, you can while I set up because we're getting a double echo. Okay, thank you. So now let us set up the conversation. Now, what I'd like you to consider answering for our audience is what actually is Kundalini. Before, we're not getting into any practices or anything like that. But if you were explaining Kundalini to the 5th grader, no, I don't want to explain. Okay, to a high school student. That's better, right? How would you explain it? Now, I'm going to start with KSandra and Julian. If you were explaining Kundalini to a 5th grader, how would you explain it?
To a 5th grader or to the high schooler?
Oh, I'm sorry. Not the 5th grader. Well, I want it to be so simple.
Right.
Yeah,
Not
the high schooler, right.
Not the sensuality.
Right.
And I'm glad you put it like that, because it is a kind of a very in-depth topic.
Yeah.
And so for me, and what I studied and found out was that it's Kundalini is based in the Hinduism or Indian philosophy. So it's basically just describing what energy is. the life force. Put it very, very simply, it's their word to describe their perception of describing what the life force is. Like in Asia, or it's the ki or the chi. Kemetic is ma'at, or just life force, energy. English is energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's their way of saying the cosmic consciousness. And they're saying that when we are conceived, somewhere within that 40th day, or like toward the 49th day, that's when the energy is attached to us, or comes to us. And that's what gives us our identity. So then once we are born, and we have, come out the womb and have all our fallacies and feet and our minds and bodies and fingers, things like that, it leaves. Or it doesn't really leave, but it goes inside, or it
Coil.
right. It goes down
Mm-hmm.
into our root,
Mm-hmm.
the chakra. It goes down to our root.
Mm-hmm.
So they discovered that there's a connection, and that there's a way to awaken it, or to get back to it, or to get back to it. So it's through certain things that you can do, such as meditation or certain yoga techniques that you can do to awaken that energy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's through some people know about chakras. So it's the vortexes of energy. So through those chakras, you can raise from the bottom, or you can descend it down from top.
Mm-hmm.
So the higher that you go, as you raise it up, there are steps. As you raise it up, go from earth, which is dealing with just the root of things, dealing with how I want to say our functionality is the root, and then as we raise it up, it goes into a higher consciousness, or it describing that bliss, that awe feeling, that serenity, that super consciousness state. So when I raise that Kundalini up, or that energy up, then I'm disconnecting from the human body and the emotional side. So I'm living in a super consciousness state.
So we would liken that to what I can see in our culture is the Holy Spirit.
Right, yeah.
Can you hear?
Religiously,
right?
Religiously,
And
yes.
we're going to put a name on it. But because it's not taught how to use that energy, because really it's a spiritual essence, right? KSandra, what were you going to add to that?
It's absolutely a spiritual essence. It's that part of us where, again, we create. And a lot of times when we talk about procreation and what sex means, that we're making babies, but in that energy is when two people are really creating by deciding what they want more of. And if that's children, love, happiness, health, all of those things. So you energize or awaken that energy through different methods. That organ is rooted in the genitalia, or that sexual organ, kind of to disguise how powerful it is, but it connects back to the heart. Like it starts from the bottom, it connects to the heart, then the mind, because when it flows through is how it touches here first, and then the mind, and then it throws into the universe where we create this abundance. So that's that piece of it. Yes, it's truly a spiritual connection that people have, that they can create with their partner something wonderful, in that aspect. And it's developed, and it's there for us to keep recreating, through different ways. And that's the sacredness of where relationships were established. That's that partnership. That when you are in a sacred relationship in that way, your life will expand.
Very cool. Okay, we're going to keep defining it before. I know you're ready to go into some depth. Wait a minute. Okay, let's go over here. Okay, you all ready, Qiana?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay, now what would you say? What would you add to that?
So that was so good. Like, that's exactly it. It's divine energy, and we have been programmed to not use it. And it's definitely, if I was explaining to someone who's never had it, and I actually resist it, I say it's exactly the feeling when people get the Holy Ghost. We have been taught that we have externally somebody else can help us get it. So when people help you get the Holy Ghost, or and you see people in a church setting, and then one person gets it, the next person get it, because its energy is electric. It really is moving around like that. It's shocking. And it's like everybody getting a little zap of it. So you think people just like playing or falling out. And if you've never had it before, but if you've ever actually experienced it in that type of setting, you know it's real, but you're being trained that it comes from somewhere else. Our bodies actually subconsciously do it a lot. When you hear stories about, oh, this woman raised her, threw a car off her baby because her baby was under the car and she couldn't get to it. Oh, if you had an orgasm that was so explosive that you had never felt in your life, and now you're like super in love, right? Because you never felt that before. It's so many ways that we do it because our subconscious knows it's there, but because we haven't been taught to bring it to the forefront to our conscious so that we can understand it and use it on our own terms, and to make manifest what we need to manifest in our lives and our relationships. But we use it subconsciously all day, every day when it's needed. It'll spring up, it'll pour right on up, and you will do magnificent things that you don't even know how you did it. Like, oh, I don't even know how I just moved the refrigerator off the baby leg because I had to do it. That's your Kundalini, that's your divine energy, that's source giving you the power to do what's necessary. But we can do that on our own. We can do that through meditation and things like that, but we also could do it with our partner when we're like KSandra was saying, when people are thinking just sex. And a lot of people think that Kundalini is somehow sexual. It's not even that it's sexual, it's just that that's a part of your life that it explodes in. It's bliss, it's euphoric. So if you're raising your Kundalini through sex, then it's gonna be magnificent. If you starting your business with Kundalini, you're gonna have a successful business. If you are raising Kundalini to raise your family, you're gonna have a successful family. So it's all about how you decide to use your energy instead of letting someone else tell you that it's external and therefore you can only use it in this type of setting.
Oh, very good. Okay, so now Taiji, I want you to tell it, because like you said, you're a newbie.
Right. So if I had to explain it, I'm gonna use my son. He's 10. If I had to explain it to him,
yes,
I would tell him it's a superpower that rests in you, and you can bring it out at any given time through meditation. I had an experience my first time. I didn't know what it was. It was a long time ago, even before I took master course class. The first time I experienced it, it was in church, and I didn't believe it. I thought everybody was, just faking, falling out or whatever. And she asked me. She said, "Do you want to experience the Holy Ghost?" This is what she said. I was like, "Okay, whatever, yeah." So she asked me to raise my hands, right? And I raised my hands and said, "Close your eyes." And she tapped me here, she tapped me here, and she went around me and she did something. To my stomach. And it felt like I couldn't control it. I don't know what it was. It felt like I wanted to like vomit or regurgitate, but at the same time it was shaking and I started seeing light and it freaked me out. I didn't know what it was, but I realized, okay, after a while I had a second experience, but this time I was by myself. I was in my room and I was just thinking, just meditating. My eyes were closed, I was thinking. And all of a sudden I felt this burst of energy and do the same thing. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? I didn't know what it was. So fast forward, now that I took the class, I understand what it is. So the energy level is really amazing once you experience it. You know, it's so hard to explain, but it was amazing. So I can explain it that way because I felt it 2 times. That I realized what it was. Now I realize what it was. Before I didn't know what it was. I just thought I was just going crazy. Like I was Christian for a long time, and I thought, okay, because I didn't believe it at first, but then after I experienced it, you know, it was great. So that's how I would explain it to my son.
Very cool. And you can see why. Let me see. I don't know how to get that echo out. Why is there an echo? Does that help? Yes. Okay. So you can see why it's important for us to learn how to share this information so that people can, I mean, it's a lot of children getting exposed to Kundalini energy from people that should not be touching them, right? So, you know, being able to explain it, you know, and that's why I started off with how would you explain this to, you know, and not necessarily a 5th grader, but a high schooler, but it may be a 5th grader the way today's world is going, right? So now we are all in agreement that this is a divine spiritual energy. We're all in agreement that it's an energy that's housed inside of your body. Now, we're all in agreement that everyone has it. What makes it significant for couples that we would call it Kundalini magic? All right, let's go back over here. Uh-oh. Are you guys unmuted?
Yeah, that's my.
There you go.
Gotcha.
Okay, so what makes it so significant for couples that we would call it Kundalini magic?
So it's the power of 2, where 2 people are connecting within that energy to bring forth, and then it's a stronger vibration that generates out to each other into the world. When we think of marriages, a lot of times it's just a church wedding kind of thing, but not in the aspect of what that love represents when people are matching that energy and truly creating. Kundalini magic created practice when we make children, when, you know, creating kids and other type of things couples create. So that's what makes it unique for couples. It's a powerful aspect that develops, and I think that piece where the world needs to see more people loving each other in this type of partnership.
And you know, and with that, you know, you're saying how does it relate to couples? I think it's also going back to connection, because not just, you know, with anybody that you meet, you know, walking down the street, on your job or things like that, you know, when you cross somebody, you feel that energy. There's some kind of vibration. So it's whether or not, you know, you're vibrating on the same level as that person, or something within you, just like you said in metaphors, talk about mirroring. So you're going to come across somebody, you know, that's either on your same level or a little bit, you know, beneath, that's coming to you because you're vibrating on a certain way and they're vibrating on a certain way. That's bringing that connection or that coil together, that serpent. You know, and so as a couple, you know, if you're a couple, then evidently something within you guys, you know, there was a meeting of the mind, a meeting of the body, of the soul, that connected you guys together
To bring about healing.
Which, you know, to also bring about healing, you know, for each other, and then to bring that healing to outwardly to everybody else.
Because there's some healing within our own pain that never gets resolved, even if we do a lot of good work. But something about that partnership that makes it a safe place, that now I'm free to expose stuff I didn't even realize existed. And you know, we dealt, you know,
Yes.
we lived that, you know, to a great extent, but it really was bringing up some sludge that was there, to different points that we could really heal what we hadn't realized before. And once we heal, we can help others.
I love that. And you know, it's so crucial that we get clear. And I'm glad that you said that. Literally, you know, people say, "Oh, I do good by myself," right? Yeah, you can do good by yourself, but you may not heal anything. You may not even address the issues that you have from your childhood, even from other lifetimes, right? So you meet up with your soulmate, your twin flame, whatever, you know, you all made an agreement. Listen, we have work to do, so let's meet up and make sure that we get this work done in this lifetime. And that is the beauty of it. When you do have that safety, you do have that person that can see you for who you are, your truth, even when you're at your worst. And you can only do that in couples. You can only do that in marriage. You can only do that in a safe partnership. And we've got to get back to that in our community.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, let's see what the Thompsons have to say about that.
Oh my goodness, you guys are so right on point. The connection is everything. When, you know, man and woman, we're made to fit. We're made to become one. And so when we connect and become one being, and we amplify our power and we raise our Kundalini together, there's nothing that we can't fix, heal, create, protect together. And my husband is definitely my mirror. I get mad. That's why you have posted, you know, all my favorite couples. I'm like, woo, it's work, Bree. It's work, because not so much the marriage, but when I have to do this, when I have to put that mirror up and I'm like, okay, get it together, do this work. Yeah. Do this work. Like, I'm mad at him, but really, no, you mad at yourself, because he's me. You know, we're one, we're connected. We raise this Kundalini together. So we do a lot of, you know, I do a lot of mirror work, but I think definitely the connection and, you know, just fitting together and creating with our energy, building with our energy, just really doing great work within our community, meaning our family, and then going outside the, you know, our home community, and going outside to the world community and doing great work. But it all starts with our kids. You know what I'm saying? Any business that we have, any you know, any extended family relationship, it always comes back to us. Always comes back to, you know, what we're creating together and how we are harnessing our energy. Are we using it for the best that we could use it for? You know, because people raise Kundalini all the time, and we have wars and we have destruction and all this stuff. So are we using it, you know, to bring love and peace into this world, into our family and harmony? And it's not always easy. It's definitely not always easy, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Taiji, before you answer, how long have you all been married?
I keep getting the years mixed up. I keep saying 13, 14 years. I keep saying 14 years. I had an extra year to it to get mad, but I think it's 13 years. Been together 14 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right, babe.
So how would you say that Kundalini magic couples?
You say okay. Kundalini to me, I'm gonna use us as an example. Okay, we've been through a lot of turmoil, right? As most people do, but we get it together, you know, eventually. You know, so the magic, the Kundalini magic that's in couples, a lot of people don't know that they have it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? They don't know that the power that it brings forth, or that you can bring forth with it. You can, you know, actually create small miracles working together. You know, small miracles. And we do it all the time, but you don't realize it. You know, you don't recognize what it is. You know, even when we talk about procreation or creation, we are creating other humans, other souls. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So, and then those souls create other souls. So the power of couples, Kundalini, is a very, very strong thing, and it's not just nothing to be played with. Some people, and I'm be honest, some people abuse the Kundalini magic. They abuse it, and by them abusing it, they, you know, have children or have created souls, and one soul leaves. So you left for a single parent to raise this soul that they've created together using the Kundalini magic. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very powerful, very, very, very powerful thing, and a lot of people abuse it.
Yeah, it's the most powerful energy on the planet. That's how we make children.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we want to harness that so we can actually create powerful communities and businesses, right?
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so now let's get down to some practical ways, some processes. Let's talk about how do you actually take the energy of couples, like your energy and his energy, right? The two shall become one. How does that create the power or the source? What does that look like?
You know, first thing that comes to mind is
why are you laughing so hard, Cassandra? I mean, really? Are you getting all
what I gotta deal with?
Your Kundalini rising while you're sitting?
We have a story.
No, I was gonna say I think first thing come to mind is being able to speak to each other.
Communication, yes.
Communication, and to me that's just paramount. You know, it doesn't matter on your good days or your bad days, when you're feeling, you know, negative, positive, you know, it doesn't matter. So whatever state that you're in, you know, is to communicate that. Because if you don't, then it gets held in. And then when you hold it in, now everything else, you know, it takes over. So then that's what makes it worse. So your emotional side kicks in and adds all the questions, ifs, ands, you know, what's, buts, and all this kind of stuff to make it more negative than what it is. It's because you're trying to deal with it eternally. I know that's one thing, for example, maybe for both of us, which is one of our likenesses, is that a lot of times we deal with stuff eternally. Instead of, you know, letting it out. I know for me that's how it was in the past, because I was, I guess, a quote unquote loner, that Capricorn, you know, being to himself. So a lot of stuff that I dealt with or I didn't deal with outwardly, you know, I kept it inside to deal with it internally. So my voice wasn't as clear, wasn't as boisterous, you know, it wasn't as clear to describe what I was going through.
Wow.
So, and then when we go through things, I have to remember and let her know, okay, if you're feeling something right then, say it. You know, don't wait, because it festers into something else later on, and much bigger, you know, later on down the line. Then becomes this big old heated argument, and we're, you know, knock down, drag out stuff, when you know, it was something very minute that could have been handled right then, you know, right then and there. So the biggest thing for me is communication. Talk it out, no matter what it is. Talk about it. That's the energy, that connection.
And that's the premise of Kundalini. Honestly, it's about discussing your goals, connections. Like, it builds from conversation. One of the things which made this interesting for us, like, we may be considered an older couple, but we're still kind of new. Like, we're, you know, we getting married next year. We just started living together. Like, we dated for a few years, but like right in the last month or so. So we always
started living together. That's new.
We just like
I
to combine.
Come over now.
You're so funny. So we're like, we always had our own space
Yes.
to go and retreat in. So we really are learning to be a couple. This process was very challenging to do this presentation, because where we know how to operate individually alone, one of the things we really wanted to talk about is like Kundalini. How do you create that in a space where you don't necessarily like each other, which is important. Like, we put that YouTube video up for that reason. Like, it was that 3-minute thing that could get us back to center. And we have to always remember that in deciding to talk to each other, because we never, like, we could not get along and then retreat and then be back together. But within that same space, we really have to work at getting back to that one faster. And the only way we can do that is talking and connecting and kind of learning up front what to say, how to say it to each other. So that's ultimately the first connection. Maybe speaking, how we speak to each other, some loving and encouraging words. So just starting with, I'm sorry, I love you. That was something I learned, before. If I couldn't say anything else and someone is hurt, and when you're dealing with difficult people, you just start from there. I'm sorry and I love you.
Yeah.
And then you create more and more of that. But this has been, this learning each other, learning to work together as a couple in the same space. It's easy to do it separately, but in this space, it's been one of those other mirrors, pieces of ourselves that we were real comfortable with in our home. We were good.
Right.
But together, if we really are dedicated and committing to not just being married, but being a loving couple, it's work. And that's what we want. Like, we're choosing this because we do want it. So that means we have to do our work. And that mirror keeps popping up every day. Tonight, before we come.
That's right. We can be real.
I'm being real transparent, because it really was that. Like, seriously. And I still love them, and we'll be okay later. But it would be times like, I'll see you in a couple of days. I'm going to my place.
You can't do that now.
No, and nor do I want to, because I really do love being around him. Yeah. Even when I don't like him, that energy in the couple is beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Like, it's beautiful.
Yes, it is. Ooh, I love that. Okay, let's see. What do the Thompsons have to add to this?
Well, can you repeat the full question, please?
So now we talked about the Kundalini magic. Now, how do you get into it? How do you cultivate it? How do you create it? So, KSandra and Julian were saying that communication and speaking, how you speak, how you talk to each other is the first step. What would be something else that would be next?
Okay. Love, right? And you know what? We all guilty of it. But love is an action word, right? So it's not just, communication is great. It's the number one thing, but you have to act. Love is an action word. So at times when you don't feel like it and she wants to do something, show you love her by doing what she want, what she asks you to do, or in that moment, And you're right, communication is very important. But I'm like her. I don't know. I hold stuff in, which is terrible. You know what I'm saying? I hold it in and hold it in, and then you're right. I explode like a bomb. You know what I mean? And that can't happen. So I believe communication and the action word, which is love, and you can by doing that, I think that's showing that helps out Kundalini magic.
What would you say? How would you add to that?
I definitely agree with that. I think the speaking, how you speak to people, communication, words, affirmation, showing that you love somebody, is good. I'm very extroverted. I'm like 10% introverted, and I need to like build myself back up. But I don't have a problem telling anybody what's not right with me. So that Scorpio sun be like, hold up, we not right. Let's talk about it. Let's figure this out. He'd be like, nothing's wrong, nothing wrong. I'm like, something wrong. But and he'll try to shut me out. But I'm like, I ain't going. Let's talk about it. But I think to cultivate any relationship, you're gonna definitely need intimacy. You have to tell your secrets. You have to share your dreams, your goals, your upsets, your frustrations, your disappointment, your fears. You have to be able to, share in an intimate way in your safe space with your spouse, and have rituals that you do together. So if it's date night, or if it's meditation, or whatever it is that you do, you pray together. If it is going to church, whatever it is that you two do together that keeps you intimate, but having, going in depth, talking, sharing, what is it that you want to do in 10 years? Where do you see this marriage in 10 years? Okay, we're going to get these kids out this house. Right. Even something as simple as cleaning up the house. Okay, so who gonna do what? Let's figure this out. What are we doing? Having financial talks.
Mm-hmm.
How do our finances look? What bills are we paying? What fun are we having? Really just being really intimate, and just cultivating that at all times, the partnership and just the love between you two.
That is so wonderful. Because yeah, you can mute that. For couples, we've gotten so busy that everything that we do tends to be out of the house, and then we come back to our house to eat and go to sleep, say hi to the kids, run the kids around, right? So when you talk about intimate conversations, I mean, you have to create that time. So I love that you said the word ritual, right? Sometimes we've gotten away from rituals. We've gotten away. I mean, it used to be a ritual that families would have breakfast together. Do you remember that? Were you all too young for that? But rituals. So let's talk about that. What are the rituals around Kundalini that has couples actually find that power and cultivate that essence within them? I mean, you talked about communication, you talked about intimacy, you talked about being loving even when you don't want to. I love that, Taiji. That love is an action. Don't just say you love me. I mean, it's demonstrated in how you treat someone. But now, how do you actually create rituals? What are the rituals around Kundalini? Do you have any? Are they? Yeah.
So for us, like some of the things we do is kind of cuddle. Like when we come in, it's the constant connection. So the overall thought is Kundalini means getting to some really good sex. And that's the last piece of it. If we really connected, that is a building on everything we said tonight, the conversations, the action, how we choose, and the ritual pieces of it is truly like if I come in every day, regardless of what's happening, I need to kiss or connect, touch like you matter. I want that. I want to give it how we communicate throughout the day, taking some time to just decompress. If, talking about your day while we are, maybe I'm just doing this for him while he's, telling me about it, or he's doing something similar, because that touches energy too. Like, that's how we heal each other. Our hearts, our love, each grows stronger by those type of acts. And that is important. And we are clear when we haven't did enough to get back to that. Like, okay, we're out of sort. Let's go back to some of this. just sitting with each other in the quiet, music, candles, and just being, holding each other during that period. So
What would you add, Julian?
what would you add?
I mean, I like when you mentioned about families doing things, eating, breakfast or dinner. I know for me, I miss that. I miss those times. I think about how my family was, or myself growing up. I mean, I grew up by myself. I had an older brother. By the time I came along, he was kind of pretty much out of the house. So it was just me, my parents. But, we would still, they would bring me out of the room and we would still try to sit down and eat, have dinner. And my dad we would go out and do things, or, he was sharing me, things, or help me with school, or do things to build, with certain schoolwork, things like that, so it was that kind of connectivity, and I miss that today, like you say, the families today don't have that, it's a lot of single moms or single parent homes, and they don't have that family structure. So yeah, we miss that, that's the connectivity that we need, and get back to. So what are the rituals? To me, those are some of the rituals, to get back to. But if you don't have that family structure, then you can't necessarily really do that. But it's
Well, I think a single parent can have breakfast with their children.
Oh yeah,
can,
definitely,
like you
for
just
sure.
created. It's a decision.
Yeah.
It's a constant effort, because you can do all of those things. We just have to remember that they are always important, and to do it. The action word, right?
That's right, love.
The action word.
It's a commitment, so if you're going to say, okay, we're going to do something, then we have to commit to it, by doing that, going out to eat, or
Anytime,
having a
baby.
date night, having a date night,
can go tonight.
or just or it's celebrating who you are and what you stand for, and figure out what that is for you. I think that's the first thing. Figure out, what you have, what the love is between you two, and then creating those rituals to build on that, so that love continues to grow.
I love that.
That's so cute.
Okay, mute me while y'all do all that mushy stuff. I love that, because one of the rituals, one of the things, I remember people used to say this all the time: couples should never go to bed angry. And now you hear couples talking about, oh, I'm not talking to him. Well, how you live with somebody for a month and you're not talking to them? Imagine what the energy of that house must feel like. So let's talk about how energy, right? Because this is why we do rituals. This is why we talk about the sage and moving the energy around. Let's talk about, the importance of our energy, and how it affects our environment and each other, and why it's important to cultivate good energy when we're talking about Kundalini. Because everybody can just go and have sex, but that's not necessarily Kundalini magic. All right, Thompson.
So yeah, I was about to say that, Moo. I sage. That's definitely a ritual. I sage. I'm always diffusing my essential oils. Taiji diffuses. He don't like to say. He said it smell like marijuana. He's like, I think you lighting something up here. But I say we both diffuse. My son diffuses. It's like a family thing. Like they're like, let me get some oils, and then like if I'm acting out of my body, I always get jokes like, Mom, where your oils at? But simple things. I have an audiobook called The Art of Intimacy, and it goes along a lot of different intimacies, including family intimacy. And my daughter, actually my 19-year-old, she was probably about maybe 8 or 9, and she was like, Mom, I want to have dinner at a table. Like, we didn't even have a table, I don't think. And she was like, I want to have dinner at a table. I was like, what? Okay. She was like, as a family. And I was like, okay. So we went and got a table. We've been having family dinner ever since. And then when we kind of like fell off, she reminded us like, hey, we supposed to have family. We supposed to sit down together at the table when we're supposed to eat. So she kept us, she kept that family intimate. It's like, no, we need to be doing this as a family. So we've just always done that, but it came from one of our, our master teachers that we gave birth to, saying, hey, this is that. But as a couple, we do a lot of things. We've done a lot of different things over the years. We keep growing and evolving. Now we're getting more like, because we've both done Landmark, and now we're both MFC coaches. So now we're getting more like meditation and stuff like that. But we've always just made sure we do the rituals of eating together, hanging out together. We talk a lot. I'm a talker. He is too. When it's just us, he's a talker. He talks my ear off. So we just discuss a lot. We have all type of cosmic discussions that if we share with the world, we'll be like burnt at the stake. Type conversations. We have very cosmic conversations, and
yeah, but you know what? Rituals don't have to be really big either.
Yeah.
They can be really small. Like unconsciously, I have a ritual where when I get off work, I tell her these crazy bus driver stories. All the time I got a different story every day. I'm saying every single day. So, and I noticed that when we in our, I want to say, when we are disconnected from one another, when we angry, she go upstairs to her little room, and I go in the basement, and the energy is horrible because now you're walking, doing this, walking by, doing this, not saying nothing. You want to say because you passing that cup. People like, you know what? I went to see about the room with the cup. So all these things. You be like, it's horrible. It's just horrible. The whole house is torn off when
the kids act up.
Everything. It is horrible. And so we have to bring it back. Okay. Sit down, talk about what just happened. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, you could have gave me that cup. So it'd be small things, but we have that ritual.
He makes me laugh a lot.
It's important. Even the small rituals you have. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, rituals are real important to Kundalini magic. Small, but they got to be real big ones. Eating out every day. I mean, eating, as a family is great every day, but sometimes when you notice when your partner isn't talking to you, that destroys the magic or it brings your energy level down, and it can just tap the whole household.
Yeah, it definitely does. And it has such an effect because the energy is real. And so when you cause disease, my husband, he gets sinus infections, right? And so I use Louise Hay's book, and so I'm like, oh, so now you irritated with me, huh? Oh, I'm irritating you because sinus is meaning someone close to you is irritating you. So it's even before he even really knew either. So he's like, what are you talking? So he really like, oh my God, I don't know what she's talking about. He's like, my sinuses hurt. We cause disease. My son had an ear infection, I think last year, the year before last, never had an ear infection in his life. And we had gotten into it really bad. And my son, he only knows us. That's all he knows is us, his sisters. Like we're his community. And so he was like the next day, like, oh mom, my ear hurt. And I'm like, your ear hurt. So he crying. We don't know what to do. I'm like, I don't know. So we go to the emergency room because he never had one. It's been so long since I dealt with an ear infection. And I looked it up, and it was like parents arguing. I could have fell out there. That's how we call disease in the babies. We call it disease. We got to get it together. So when your magic is disconnected, it does not just affect you. That's why it's so important to understand the importance of Kundalini magic, because it's not just about you. It's about your whole environment. The people in your house, yourself, you call disease, you're making yourself sick, you're making your partners. I literally make my husband sick. I give him sinus infections. So, you have to really look at that. It's like, okay, I want him to be healthy. When we connect and we put our energy together, we heal each other. We heal our kids, we heal our home, and then we have so much power when everyone's healed that we healing outside in the world, in the community. So it is very important. And those little rituals that you don't really think about, like coming home, giving each other a hug. I'm always happy to see him. When he comes here, I'm like, hey, babe. I'm happy to greet him when he comes in the door. So those things, they count and they matter.
That is so cool. And you know what's so interesting is that most people have gotten away from the hey baby and being happy. You know, it's kind of like walking the door and you looking around, is anybody here happy to see me? That's why people love dogs, right? Because the dogs be like, you been going all day. They jumping up and down, you know. And you know, it takes something to cultivate in yourself the energy of love. And I'm so glad that Taiji said that the action of love has to be cultivated. You know, your mate is coming home. You know that your children are coming home. Get ready to appreciate them. I mean, is that part of the Kundalini magic, KSandra and Julian? You know, we've talked about the how we speak to each other. We've talked about how we touch each other. We've talked about rituals. We talked about the energy in the house making a difference, the energy of each other. You know, what other things do you need to make sure that you are present to?
That is so true. And that also speaks to that intimacy aspect of it. You know, intimacy is all of those things. When we talk about you sharing your day with me, you know, taking that downtime and just telling me about what happened and those little idiosyncrasies about one another that is only shared during those small moments. And the small moments is really the big moments that happen in life, love, and relationships. And we do that consistently. We build powerful connections with ourselves and communities. And that really plays a part. Like if I feel like I'm listening to you and you listening to me, we're appreciating. And those are places that boundaries can't get crossed by anybody else because that's what's sacred for us as a couple.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can have whatever type of connection that exists and karma to work out because I believe that I can't be your everything, but as your partner, there's an intimacy there that no one else can ever cross.
Yeah, and it's also about, like you say, cultivation. And when you say that, I think about like a plant, a flower. What do, to cultivate that? You give it water, you give it light, you give it, you speak to it, things like that. You put it in a place, or you show it love, and again, the action of love. And what does it do? It should, grow. So that's the thing. As a couple, it's definitely more so to cultivate, because not only now you're not just dealing with yourself, you're dealing with another person or another energy, in the room. So
how our kids see us, our community, all of that. That's how we really affect change in this life.
Right. So it's between the two of the couple, then what is it that you represent? And understanding what you represent, then you can build and cultivate that by those rituals. So that's the to me, that's the paramount. Understanding, you have to understand who you are so you can build upon that with that energy to keep building that energy, and feeding it the right way.
I'm going to throw a curveball. You remember the 17-second rule? Mm-hmm. Now, how do you actually take responsibility? Now, see, this is okay, because I know y'all haven't been doing it, but I just want. Right. Wait a minute. You got to unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Unmute. What are you saying?
I say I'm a pro at it. I can do it in about 3 to 5 seconds. I'm good. So I work on it all the time. I got you.
Sandra is like, really?
Yes.
What about you all, Thompsons? The 17-second rule.
Well,
Well, Taiji more, he's more experienced with the 17-second rule and the law of attraction.
I love it. I love.
So go ahead and explain to people if you can.
But the 17-second rule.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, right? But you have exactly 17 seconds. I can't hold on.
To hold the thought.
To hold the thought, right? And then I think you detach yourself from the thought and then hold it again for 68 seconds, yeah. And then you put it out to the universe. It's in the universe. It's in the fourth dimension of the universe. So that's how I anything that I really want or need or I try that first. I do that. I do it kind of often. 17-second rule. I do it often because the law of attraction. The law of attraction. I understand and know how it works, and I know the 17-second rule and the law of attraction kind of go hand in hand. So I use that all the time, and I don't know the subject of Kundalini, but I realized since I got into the 17-second rule, I realized that's how I got my house, that's how I got my car, that's how I got my job, that's how I got my marriage. You know what I'm saying? But back then I didn't know that until I started studying Master Force and I started realizing, oh man, so that's why I'm so interested. So the assignment you gave us one session, it gave us books and stuff to read to further the 17-second rule and further the law of attraction. So I got those books and I got some more books that those books recommended. So it's like I'm studying it. So now it's like, to me, that's like the best part of it.
Yeah, I think like for couples, and you say just anybody can have sex, and anybody can have sex, and some people have sex with people against their will and things like that. That's not the magic that we're talking about, and holding the love and the space and the peace and the creation of it. But it's so important to really understand what sex is, and that that sperm has DNA, and that the penis is a pen. And when the man puts his pen in your womb, which is the paper, and then writes all over it with his DNA, you take in all of that. And so whatever trauma he's been through, whatever drugs he's used, whoever he's had sex with, whatever problems mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever, you just adopted all of that. And that's no matter who, that's, whoever you have sex with. So you would want it to be with somebody that you are able to heal and grow with, and you both are healing and growing, because you're gonna, people come with stuff, but you want to make sure you're not letting anybody write on your paper. And men too, vice versa, same thing. You want to make sure you're not letting just anybody put their paper on your pen. Y'all want to make sure that when you're doing that, you're matching, and that you're doing the work, because it's work. So you have these couples that have passion crime. They made a whole show about Snap, called Snap, where people killing each other, killing their spouses. Y'all just giving each other like writing on the wall, and just crazy DNA. All these, I don't want to say diagnoses, but diagnoses that we done, trauma that we done been through, and all this stuff. So that's why it's important to know about your body, your individually, why it's important to know about sex, what it actually is, what it means, why it's important to know about your divine energy. These things are taught in sex education classes. It's taught about diseases and all that stuff. And yeah, you can get all that stuff too, but spiritually you can get jacked up. There's people around here walking around. I worked on psych wards for years, and in different agencies. I'm a counselor by trade too. So I've worked in these places, and I see women and men coming in these places jacked up, and you don't know yourself, know thyself. I think Julian just said that, like, know thyself. You have to know who you are, and you have to know who your mate is. So even us knowing the different assessments, like, oh, my husband's a Cancer. Let me see how we're connected. Oh, he's a Queen of Diamonds. Let me see how we're connected. What are our connections? Knowing that we've been together many lifetimes. Knowing that, we have a lot of work to do in this lifetime. I mean, we've done a lot of work together, but we still have some things we need to hash out. Knowing these type of things really, cultivates your magic. It is not just to be out here doing whatever. We got work to do. We're here on this earth to do work. So we have to get the work done.
Very cool.
Very cool.
And Taiji, so you got it. You got it. It's about right? So it's the 17-second rule says that you hold the thought for 17 seconds. It's going to settle in your body, right? You hold it for another 17 seconds. That same thought is going to go into your astral field, right? You hold that thought for another 17 seconds. It's going out into your etheric field. You hold it for another 17 seconds. That's a total of 68 seconds. The energy of that thought is now going to ping out into the universe and find the match for that energy. So, for instance, there's a car accident, right? Most of the time, that's not an accident. That's usually our energy. Something has happened. We have sat and brewed. We're stewing. We're angry. We're upset. 17 seconds has set. Most of the time, we had 2 hours. Bad energy. Guess what it's looking for? The next person out there with bad energy. That's road rage. So when you take 17 seconds and put that inside of our ability to cultivate Kundalini magic, then what becomes available?
So I will say this, Moo. Like, I kid when Julian mentioned it, and he is really good with the 17-second rule. Like, he's super good at it, that sometimes he forget to come back to present with it. And I'm just like, hello, do you hear me? But I think this is where the match of the energy. Yes. He's so laid back in stressful situation, like right before we started, and getting everything set up. And, he's cool. I'm I want stuff to happen, the difference with us. And that's why we kind of are met to balance. But that piece of it, like, I move differently and he keeps it right here. Like, it's all fine. It's all good.
And it really
is. Yeah. So it's like that piece of it, he does do extremely well. And it probably helps me from really flying off the edge and road rage or something. So I have to bring it forces me to come back, to that part. So that's correct.
So let me ask you this. Couples, when they're struggling inside of their relationship, most of the time they don't know how to bring themselves, like you're saying, back to balance. They don't know that there's things that they can do. What would you say to couples that don't have this kind of rapport? They don't have Master Force training. What would you say that they could do to begin to cultivate or to seek this Kundalini magic in their relationship?
She said, what would they do to seek this?
Okay.
I would say right. I think that's a good part in safe. So let's say I didn't know, and if I was giving this assignment to another couple, I would say, write your partner letter. And then have them read it to each other. So that would be a start, because in writing, when we journal, our true voice come out. And when I've worked with couples that wrote as if they were separate and then had to read, it creates that real intention that exists. So I would say right.
Right, yeah, that's good too. They give me a call. I give my number. No, I'm just kidding. It also goes back to, again, communication. Sometimes, again, in our own way, we lose sight of not only who we are, but why we're here, because something happened, and that we, just for example, she might have done something that rubbed me the wrong way, but I didn't speak on it at that moment. So I held it in, just to keep the peace, and was like, as a man does, like, okay, whatever, and go about your own business, So, and then that keeps festering and festering and festering, and it builds up into something else, But like I said earlier, you have to, for the people that don't know, you have to be honest. That's bring yourself back to each other by saying, you know what, honey, you did something, that made me upset, or when you didn't put the cap back on the toothpaste, it makes me upset. So,
or I felt like this,
right?
Because the language is, I felt like this.
Right.
It won't be what you did, and that's the blame that get caught up.
And don't be judgmental.
Yeah.
Don't judge it. So you have to sit down and say,
you don't care about me.
Right.
It's like, I felt like you didn't care when you did that.
Right.
So it's the language.
Yeah. So the more you keep pointing fingers, it's never going to work. So you have to say, this is what I felt. This is what happened when you did this, or because they could be thinking something totally different.
Yeah.
But then when it comes out, it's like, really? You've been mad at me all this time because of that? So you have to be honest with yourself.
Honesty.
Okay, Thompson, what would you say?
You know what? To any problem, any situation, you first have to ask yourself why, right? So, why did I do this? Why did she do this? What am I doing? What did I make her do this? What's the outcome? So what I would do is I would tell them to separate 10 minutes, meditate, and think about the why. Why did she get upset at you? Why did you make her upset? I'm saying, what did you say to make this jump off? Right? A lot of times we play the blame game. But don't see that you caused your own situations, right? You caused everything happens because of you. And I had to learn that. We play the blame game a lot. So it's your fault that this happened. So if we are arguing, I have a part to play in that argument. I can't be like, man, it's your fault. You did this. You should have did that. Yeah, but why did she do that? So you have to ask yourself why. Why are we even having this argument? And once you figure that out, then you can try to fix the problem, or fix the situation that it comes in. So I will separate. You go over here. You go over here. 10 minutes. Meditate. Breathe the center. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Come back in. Now we can talk. Why did this happen? You go first. 10 minutes, put the little thing down, what you call it, the little timer. 10 minutes, talk for 10 minutes, don't say nothing. Right? And then you figure out the why. That's how I would do it.
Yeah, that's good, babe. I was gonna say something similar to that about the blame and stuff. But I definitely agree with that. And I also think that it comes back again to to knowing yourself and knowing your ego. My husband said a long time ago, he's like, you could be mad or you could be married. And I was like, oh, okay, that's actually true. And so it's just, you find it's just not worth it. My best friend, oh my God, I feel myself in the cry. My best friend lost her husband early this year in March, and we were really close. And of course, I'm tearing up already talking about him. But it's not worth it. Like, some stuff is just, you just be like, is it worth it? Ask yourself, is this a battle that is worth it? If it's I used to have this thing with his shoes. Jesus, oh my God, I'm tripping over these boots. Oh my God, I can't believe his boots everywhere. And I asked myself, like, you tripped over, pick it up and move it. Like, you tripped over, left it right there too. So, I asked myself, is that worth me coming and having a full-blown temper tantrum argument about? Is it worth it? So you just have to figure out what's really worth it, what's ego, what's you just feeling like you and your feelings as a kid. Like, you and your feelings, but you're feeling some type of way, and you are in control of your own feelings. You are in control of yourself. So you have to ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Why do I get down to the nitty-gritty? Do I feel hurt? Am I disappointed? Am I frustrated? Is it valid? What I'm thinking, of course it is. My feelings are valid, but who has to validate them? Me. I have to validate. I got to figure out what's going on and why I'm being so triggered about what's going on with whatever situation. At the end of the day, I think KSandra said it earlier. Like, I'm sorry, I love you, and it goes just such a long way, because it's just not. You find out that it's just not. It wasn't important. Like, I hear people get divorced about something. I'll be like, what? Like, it just wasn't important. And some, of course, there are detrimental things that take place, but 9 times out of 10 you find out like it was not even worth it. It was something that could have been talked through. It was something that could have been let go. I'm sorry could have helped. And so I literally have to check myself, because my ego will definitely get in the way, and I feel like I have to get defensive. So I'm like, who are you defending yourself against? The man who loves you? Really? Like, no. So go back, regroup, take a deep breath, breathe to center, do whatever you gotta do, get it right, and then go have a conversation. And apology goes a long way.
It sounds like you guys be breathing quite a bit. Everybody is breathing to center. I love it. Oh my goodness. And we're coming to the final moments of the show, this conversation. And I want you to think about, what we want to do, our intention is to make such a difference for couples, and to really inspire them to hold on to their love, to really stay in your own loving heart, so that you can find your mate, your divine mate. But what would you say? What is the last thing that you would want to leave with them? But before you say the last thing, tell me, what did you get for yourself in this conversation tonight? And then tell me what you want to say to them. I'm talking to KSandra and Julian.
Trying to get it. All right,
I'm sorry. He usually unmute the mic. It's a reminder of how important these relationships are, for ourselves, for our children, for the world. If I wanted, what I would want to say is thank you for showing up for me, so I can heal that part of me that I didn't even realize was broken.
Mm. That's powerful. Mm-hmm. That's powerful. That's beautiful. Mm-hmm. What about you, Julian? That's powerful.
We all agreed on that one, huh?
Right, yes.
I, well, I mean, first of all, just again, thank you, Moo, for being that catalyst and for presenting this, this presenting your master force through this way, you know, and because it always helps, us as coaches or those that have gone through, and of course you're doing it to help, consistently help others. So this stand is good because we, again, the world is in need of this. We all need it, and that's what the world is. It's functioning right now. It's in that vortex to where everybody is clamoring, for that spiritualness to get back to self, to get back to center. And as far as a couple, realize that first of all, why you got into that relationship. You have to break that down. So if you have to sit down somewhere, if somebody's out there having issues, having problems, are at battle with each other, then this is that moment, if you're listening, to sit down. Like T said, to sit down and discover for yourself, okay, where are we? Why are we fighting? Or what can we do to make things better? This is what this format was all about. To inspire somebody to hit those energies to say, okay, you know what? I've been feeling this. So what can we do to help that, to better cultivate? Intimacy is not just sexuality. It's about the oneness between you have between humans, between us beings. That's what intimacy is, or a relationship. Not just with a couple or friend, family member, sister, uncle, cousin, your mom, your wife, your husband. That's what a relationship is. That's what intimacy is. Experiencing and sharing your stories with that, So um, that's where the focus is, and hopefully we were able to share and expound on that.
I don't even know. Okay. I feel so grateful to be able to do this. I always do, but Shemsu-t, I've been watching all week, and you've been crying all week, and I said I am not crying on Ignite Your Soul. Because I said I see what Shemsu-t on. But then here I am bawling. Okay, you got me. But I'm so grateful and humble to be in such a beautiful space, to be able to share openly and freely with such another amazing couple, and of course with our mentor and teacher, our master teacher. Is there are no words to express that. There aren't any. And I really hope that couples get that relationships are powerful, and that you're a powerful being, and then when two powerful beings come together, there's nothing that you cannot do. Just love each other. Just love each other. Ultimately, that's what it's about. Even when you're mad, even when you're upset, and know that the more you love each other, the more you come together and intentionally raise your Kundalini, the less trouble you'll have. You'll be able to go through it. So it'll be more external stuff trying to come at you because you're so powerful. But our aura together, you can't even touch us. You can't even touch us because we're connected and we're linked and we're constantly doing the work. So you build up like a protection against anything that even anything that try to come at you. You won't even know, because it won't get close enough to even be like, you're like, oh, that's a little speck or something. Is that a little something? You won't even know. And just love each other. That's what we're here to do. We're here to do some work, definitely, but we're here to love each other ultimately. So just, if you're in a loving relationship, and you want it to work, you could be, you know, you could be married or you could be mad.
Mm-hmm. Most of all, this is basic. Just love yourself, love each other, and realize that love is not something you just say, but it's also something you do. The small things matter. And that's what I would say to the couples. Um, but this session has taught me to knowledge yourself. Like knowledge is so much great. I've even, you know, Kundalini is so much more than just sex, right? So when I start reading about it and learning about it, you know, when you automatically think of sex, that's just that's like you said, that's the end game. That's that's the great part. Don't get me wrong, but it's not just that. It's just not that. So
Yeah, knowledge.
knowledge yourself, knowledge each other, learn your mate, right? And it's a forever going process. Learn your mate, know what she likes, what he or she likes, know what they don't like, and that'll cause a whole that'll get rid of a whole bunch of confusion, right? If you know she don't like to go to the mall, don't take her to the mall. You know what I'm saying? If you know she likes spaghetti one night, you make spaghetti Tuesday night. Do rituals, learn rituals, you know, practice rituals. The smallest things matter. I'm telling you, when we was upset that time and I didn't have anybody to go in there and tell my day, that destroyed the whole lot of energy. The smallest things matter your partner. So share your love with your partner on a daily basis. Even if you are mad, you know, you get over it. I tell all the time that um, I'm not sleeping in another room. You're gonna sleep at this edge, and I'm going at this edge of the bed. But I'm not going nowhere. I'm on the bed. So you know the smallest things matter. So knowledge yourself, knowledge each other, and practice the art of love. It's just an art.
Thank you so much. I want you to know that the gift that you guys are, the gift that you guys have been for me has just been amazing inside of my own healing work. I was a widow at 25, and originally I said I wouldn't get married again, and got married at 35, and it didn't work out. And I learned so much about relationships in those marriages, right? That I realized that it was so important to cultivate young marriages because there's nobody doing it. We have so much television doing about the glamour weddings and all this, but nobody's talking about how do we stay in love? How do we stay in love? How do we stay in love? And that's why, I'm so grateful to have you guys give of your time, give of your energy, give of your essence. And you've taken away from, other things in your life that you could be doing. And I just want you to know that I am so grateful that we have this platform and that you were willing to be generous and authentic and real. And it was just a beautiful evening. And just thank you so much. And now, I know that you guys had some resources. Do you want to talk about your resources? And if you're taking clients, how can people reach you? If you're open to clients and people are needing some support, let them know where they can find you.
Moo, you better stop now. You've been doing this all week.
All week.
I thought about it earlier. I said she is not going to do it today. We love you, though. We love you.
I think y'all do that on purpose.
Actually, you know what? My practitioner is called Journeys, and so you guys can reach me. We can put it on the page too as well. I have my home number, my cell number, I can be reached on Yahoo, Mahogany Blue at yahoo.com. Or I have a Google address as well. I can leave that all there on there for you too as well. But I know one of the things I think we might have posted one of the videos.
That 3 minutes.
Yeah, that 3 minutes, and then we will try to post it too. But there was another one, a very good one that's also on YouTube. It's explaining about the going through the process of awakening the Kundalini. So it's real easy, real simple. And there's a couple books I can post too. It's called
Okay, you can send them to me. I'll post after this.
Okay. All right. Oh, but let me just one saying. I'm not sure if we're going to go back to this, but just one saying to end it. For this is that remember this: life is one breath in and one breath out.
Okay.
We are definitely taking clients. Just depending on scheduling needs, you might get me, might get both of us. But you can find me at holisticheharmonyinc.biz. And on Facebook, my Facebook name is Nini Thompson, Nini Thompson. You can send me a friend request if you like. I have a Facebook page, Holistic Harmony Inc., Mind, Body, and Soul. You can like that. If you like my Facebook page, you can get a free download, a portion of my book. I think it is it Sexual Intimacy? I can't remember which one it is, but you will get one of the intimacy chapters from my book free. And yeah, that's the best way to get in contact with me. And then I'll give like my business number and all that stuff. We'll post that. But yeah, if you go to my website or you go to my Facebook page, you can message me, you can send me a friend request and all that, and we'll be all good. And if you want the full book, it's an audio book. It's on my website too. It's like $5. You can download it. And it's called The Art of Intimacy, and it talks about spiritual, family, crisis, intimacy, marriage, sexual intimacy, spiritual intimacy, and it's really great. So it's a good download. And then I do have some books that I reference: the Louise Hay, the another one I think I mentioned. I'll Shemsu-t to put them inside of the Ignite Your Soul page.
Taiji,
Huh?
did you have a final word?
No, I think no, I'm finished. I mean, I just to love one another and practice that art. That's
Okay.
it.
The art of love.
Art. It's an art. It is an art, and some people are good at it and some people are bad at it. But everybody's capable of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So you just have it's like I said, you got to practice it though. You don't know. And it comes. It comes when the one comes. You can't control it, and I've learned that it's real. It comes when the one comes, right? You can't. It's like once you're in that art, that love. Once you're in it, it's like you can't say I'm leaving because it catches you, it grabs you, and holds you. You know what I'm saying? So it's real hard to get out. I don't care how mad you are at a person. That's what they tell you. Before you label anyone, they don't understand your souls mix. They mix. So you can't just be laying up with this person and laying up with this person. You're creating a spiritual mess, So concentrate on your loved one, focus on that art, and take it day by day. That's what I would tell the listeners today.
Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, mute. We're at the end of this Kundalini magic with KSandra and Julian and Qiana, or Nini and Taiji. And I want to remind everyone that tomorrow we have our final show, and we have Timothy Glenn, Jaquay Glenn, and Alanda Gregory. And we're talking about astrology, readings, and altars. So all of the references that they spoke about, they will be posted to Ignite Your Soul Connection, which is a Facebook page. It's a Facebook fan page. And we'll also attach it to the event. And we thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at our final night on tomorrow. Thank you. Good night, guys.